Come to me, my children. Follow the sound of my voice to receive thy blessings. Unburden yourself.
Ow, 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 ow.
And welcome to the Church of Last Resort with the Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll. The Church of Last Resort, where your prayers are heard, your sins forgiven, and no matter what you believe, you won't believe this shit. And now, the Irreverent Reverend, the Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll.
Good morning, brothers and sisters. Thank you all for joining me, or joining us, or whoever we are. Thank you, just thank you. Lord have mercy, thank you. This is the Church of Last Resort. Today is June 8th. This is episode 86. We call this episode WTF, Why Tyrants Fail. That's right, that's what we're calling it. And so, good morning, brothers and sisters. And this includes our new members who may be enjoying us or watching us and not enjoying us for the first time, wherever you may be and wherever you want to be, because you may not be where you want to be. There you are. Welcome to the Church of Last Resort. I am the Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll, PhD, GDS, ADHD, MCM, LIX. People have called me the racy reverend, the pervert pastor, the vile vulgar vicar of vice, the sexy shepherd, the missionary man, the minister of mischief, the wicked witness, the dirty deacon of doggy style, the frisky friar, the ass man abbot, the booty banging brother, the handsy high priest, Father Fismus, the wicked I like to watch witness, the holy hoe, the divine dominating dominee, the depraved preacher, the minister of making love, the clergy of cunning conversation while eating that pussy, and that nasty N-word. And I've been called that probably the most of all of those things, and sometimes to my face. Now, the point is that I come by many names and by many methods, but I do not come easy. Lord have mercy. No. Now, let us begin, as we always begin, in the name of George Carlin, Robin Williams, and Richard Pryor. Can I get a fuck? Yeah. That's right. We got a new guy at the board. The new guy doing just fine so far. Doing real good so far. Yes, indeed. Now, brothers and sisters, it is time for our opening prayer. And today our opening prayer is brought to you by Good Brew, bro. Good brew. That's right. In the beginning, the Lord made the elements, and one of those elements was gas. And guess what? This helps with that. That's right. If you got does it? I don't know. It gives you the good probiotics that you need to have good smelling gas. That's what it is. It doesn't stop the gas. It just make it smell better, I hope. We'll find out, because I've been taking it before the show. And if I leave, it's because it didn't work. If you hear me talking, but you don't see my face, because I'm talking from out there, because when I let it go in here, it didn't go well. So if you hear me but don't see me, it's because this doesn't do what I thought it did. And I'll be looking for a new sponsor, maybe for Breeze or something like that. So there we go. There you have it. Brothers and sisters, it is time for our opening prayers. If you or someone you know is in need of a prayer by the Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll, please send your request for a prayer, a healing, a forgiveness, or any such bullshit to me at drreverendjellyroll@gmail.com. Now, please remember to spell roll with an E on the end. Otherwise, one of those other fake jelly rolls will get your prayer request, and you do not want them touching your stuff. You don't want them handling your prayers and your requests and things like that. It just wouldn't be kosher. It wouldn't be kosher. And by kosher, I mean, well, let's see here. I'm checking the emails. I'm checking the very emails right here, because to see who's written me so far. Let's see here. We got an email from Spotify creators. Well, got like 8. Got 8 emails from Spotify creators. I got an email from Google Tips. Got an email from YouTube telling me that I'm live now. I know I'm live now. That is stupid. Why are they sending me an email on YouTube letting me know that I'm live now? Because I knew before they knew. I already knew I was live, and they sent me a fucking email. All right. Oh, let's see. Here's one. Here's an email that I can probably read. It's from plausible.com. Congratulations, Jason. Jason won their Jason out of Houston, Texas, won their comedy contest that they have every month. So Jason won for the month of May. Jason Hafner. Uh, he started his comedy career at the age of 53. Wow, he's a youngin'. I mean, he looked young. He looked young. Well, it says he started at 53, but it doesn't say how old he is now. Uh, a 1.6 second performance, a commanding 1.6 second performance as online professor number 3 in the film. Oh, okay, I got you. All right, so anyway, congratulations. Plausible.com. Their next contest is on is June 29th. So check out plausible.com. That's PLAUZZABLE.com. Okay, and when you do get there, you should check out 2 of my good friends, one of whom is G.D. Fenderson, and the other of whom is Steve the Sitcom Ortiz. Check them out. Just be their fans. Just click on the page and be their fans. They don't ask for money. They just ask that you be their fan. And then if and when they do shows on Plausible, you'll be notified by email or carrier pigeon or whatever it is that you prefer, because you get to choose how you want to be notified. We can call you a person, or if you like GD Fenderson, you want to be notified when he's performing. There's an option where he actually will come to your house and knock on your door and say, "Excuse me, I'm GD Fenderson. I'll be performing on plausible.com July 19th. Please watch." It's $5. Starts at 7:30. Blah 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 blah. Then he'll go to the next door and knock and say, "Excuse me, I'm GD Fenderson. I have a show July 19th on plausible.com. Please check it out. You were on a list and you asked to be notified. I'm notifying you." See, so now, right. And I was saying that I'm sorry. I lost track. I lost my train of thought. See, and that's an interesting phrase. See, you lose track, you have a train of thought. Now, and we'll talk about that in depth one day, not today, because I have to chew that over a little bit. Chew that over a little bit. Now for our disclaimer. While all prayers are heard, not all prayers are answered when we want them to be. Some loopholes and restrictions may apply. And if you're listening on Rumble, it applies doubly for you, because who's going to hear your prayers? I think Rumble is like space. Can anybody hear you scream? All right. Or does anybody want to hear you scream? Now, I say some restrictions may apply, and that's just legalese. That's legal terms. Actually, the restrictions have been applied, and so have the loopholes. So, just so you know, legally, we have to say they may be applied, but technically and actually, we've already applied them. We just put May to cover our ass. Now it's June. We've just put June to cover our ass. So please bow your head unless you're driving your car or your significant other. And if that is the case, just close your eyes and let Jesus do the driving while we pray. Yes, indeed. Dear Lord, please bless Brother Jim Marshall. That's right. Brother Jim Marshall was a great defensive lineman for the Minnesota Vikings. Jim Marshall has died. Marshall, 87, passed away after a lengthy stay in the hospital. Doesn't say why he was in the hospital, only that he was there a long time, hence a lengthy stay. He could have been visiting a sick friend and was just there so long he died. Or He could have been in the emergency room with a non-fatal injury, and as a result, he was there waiting his turn while other people who were in worse conditions than him got taken care of. And eventually, his minor issue, after being neglected and unchecked for a lengthy period of time, went from being it can wait to wait. He died? It was just a hangnail. Shit. Marshall was considered an Iron Man in the NFL, but in the hospital, ironic man. See, because he was just there for a lengthy stay, and lengthy stay is not a disease. I looked it up. I have a Merck's reference manual, and also a Gray's Anatomy book, and a few other things. They even have Google, and I looked up the disease lengthy stay. It's not a disease. Uh, so he should not have been. He should not have died from lengthy stay. But okay. Now Marshall made 270 consecutive starts. Now that's pretty fucking impressive for a defensive lineman, because the only people that get beat up more on the football field than the defensive lineman is the football itself. I think maybe an offensive lineman, because the defensive lineman beat them up. Especially back in '64, before they got rid of the ear slap. That, oh my God, that thing was so devastating that they got rid of it. It was ringing bells and causing concussions like you wouldn't believe. So in '64, offensive lineman was getting the shit beat out of him. Now, some people don't know who Marshall is. They really don't know how good he was. They only know him from one memorable football play that he made in 1964. Okay. Yeah. Now, when I tell you about this play, you're going to say, I remember that play. Even if you never saw it, you're going to say, I heard about it. I didn't know it was real. I thought it was a joke. Okay. This is what happened in that play. Billy Kilmer, Billy Kilmer used to play for the 49ers. Okay. And people don't know that because they only know him. Most people know Billy Kilmer as the quarterback of the Washington Redskins. Okay. That Billy Kilmer, he was with the 49ers back then, and he was actually a receiver back then. Okay. And so, or he was a receiver on this play. The quarterback for the 49ers, George Mara, threw the pass. Billy Kilmer caught it and began to run. Billy Kilmer fumbled the pass. Okay. And then Marshall scooped up the fumble and took off running for the end zone. That's right. I don't even know how many. It was like a 64-yard run. But he ran, and nobody even came close to stopping him. Nobody, because he was running toward the wrong end zone. That's right. He scooped up the interception, scooped up the fumble, ran it back, and he was running so fast that nobody was chasing him. They just didn't even try. And so he wound up scoring 2 points for San Francisco. That's right. That's right. That's now people are going to say, now, I remember that play. I saw that on Google or YouTube's. That guy, you thought he's just dying now? I'd have thought he'd have died in 1964 from embarrassment. I know I would have. So after I scooped that and spiked the ball and did my little dance, and they go, 2 points, safety for San Francisco, I'd have been like, oh, fuck. Yeah. Right then and there, I would have died in 1964. That's another reason why they called him the Iron Man, because, he's lived through that. 1964. He didn't die till 2025 after a lengthy stay, which I do not know how a lengthy stay can kill you. We're still working on that. If we get any more news about Jim Marshall's lengthy stay, I won't bring it to you unless it's funny. So rest in peace, Jim. Make sure you're heading in the right direction this time, because there's more than a safety at stake if you wind up in the wrong goal. If you run in the wrong direction this time. Can I get a 2-point play? Amen. 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 Yes, yes, indeed. Dear Lord, please bless Brother Edmund White. That's right. Edmund White, the gay literary icon who witnessed the Stonewall Uprising and influenced a generation of LGBTQ plus writers, has died. I just wanted to make sure I got all the letters in there. That's what the pause was. I don't want to leave anybody out. I don't need somebody for Rumble going, you left out my letter. You left out my I or my R, whatever it is that you think you need on Rumble. I don't want you to think I left it out on purpose. I literally just copied this. And back when he wrote this, those may have been, I don't even know when they wrote this. Whenever he died. The point is, Edmund White has died, okay? Now, according to The Guardian, which is a news outlet, White, who was diagnosed with HIV in 1985, was experiencing symptoms of a stomach illness on Tuesday. The stomach issue may have been brought on by something he swallowed. I don't know. Then it says White became ill at the home he shared in New York City with his husband, the writer Michael Carroll, and died while waiting for an ambulance. He was 85. Now, I'd have thought, see, you only hear about people dying waiting for an ambulance when they're like in a poor neighborhood or a violent neighborhood, and the ambulance just like, oh, we ain't going there. They can wait, or they can meet us halfway, but we ain't driving that neighborhood. Maybe if they just bring them out to the edge of the neighborhood so we don't have to go in there, and that's how they die. Well, he was 85. Now, here's the other thing. It says he became HIV positive in 1985, and he didn't die. Now, it doesn't say he died from the complications. Doesn't say that. But up till now, everyone thought Magic Johnson was the only person who was like HIV positive for 40 years and lived forever. Now, this is this guy here, Edmund White, the Black Magic Johnson. Although he was white, so I guess he wouldn't have a Black Magic Johnson. He'd have a White Magic Johnson. You're missing the point. You're missing the point, taking it out of context. The author of A Boy's Own Story was considered to be the patron saint of queer literature. Okay, and most times, oh, okay, that makes sense. But you don't, well, patron saint, because most times you have to be, he may be a saint now that he's dead. He has to perform 3 miracles if he's Catholic. And I think 4 miracles if he's gay. I think that's it. You have to perform 1 more miracle just to, it's not my, don't get mad at me, okay? I didn't make the rules, and I'm not making this up as I go along because I ran out of text. That's not what this is. I think that's a real thing. Okay, so he's a patron saint of queer literature. Boy's Own Story has been reimagined as a graphic novel. Now, I don't know if it's a pop-up book or not. We'll find out, or you'll find out if you buy the book. I'm not buying the book, and it's not because it's about queer literature. It's because I can't read. In 1977, he published his groundbreaking book, The Joy of Gay Sex, a pioneering sex manual White wrote with his psychotherapist, Charles Silverstein. Now, here's the thing, just people understand. 1977, being gay was relatively new, which is why he had to write a sex manual for them, so they knew they would at least have an idea what they were doing. Because it was, it was just all willy-nilly. They were just putting things everywhere, anywhere it fit. And Edmund said to himself, I think these motherfuckers need a manual. I'm going to write it. So when Edmund was speaking to The Guardian about the book years later, White said, quote, I think if I wrote it alone, it would have been called The Tragedy of Gay Sex. But Silverstein brought in the warm, cuddly part, close quote. Now, warm, cuddly part was also his pet name for his warm, cuddly part. Rest in peace, Edmund. This just in, the ambulance has finally arrived and wants to charge a $500 trip charge because you were not there. Can I get an ambulance chaser? Which is probably yeah, an ambulance chaser, which is probably a diet soda. Thank you very much. Dear Lord, please breath. Dear Lord. And I put chapstick on. I did put blistex on. I did. I don't know why my lips are sticking to my teeth. I should have put it on my teeth instead of my lips. Yes, so that's beside the point. Tastes like asparagus. Dear Lord, please bless brother Etienne Emile Bellu. Okay, yes, right. Etienne Emile Bellu, French scientist Etienne Emile Bellu, known as the inventor and father of the abortion pill, died on Friday at age 98 at home in Paris. Of course, had he invented the pill sooner, he would not have become the father of the pill. That's just logic. Etienne fathered 3 kids before getting the abortion pill right. Once he got it right, there was no 4th kid. Etienne discovered RU-486 in 1982. When he found RU-486, 486 replied, "Who's asking?" That's a thinker. See, RU-486? Who's asking? See, RU-486 is the gene that controls the hormone that the woman develops when she's pregnant. You know something? I'm not going to teach you science, or that's a fucking funny joke if you understand giant jokes, humor. If you understand abortion, if you knew anything about abortion, you know that was a fucking funny joke. Are you 46? Who's asking? God damn it, that's a funny joke. I'm not justifying it. I'm not going to justify it. God damn it, I'm not going to justify it. It was funny. If you didn't laugh, it's because you don't understand abortion. That's a funny joke. Damn it. Good joke. I wrote that myself. GD usually helps me write these, but that one I wrote myself. Once the abortion pill was invented, the estate of O.A. North, inventor of the wire hanger, sued Etienne for lost revenue. That's right. A settlement was reached when hanger sales picked up in red states and third world countries recently, like after the Dobbs decision. All right, rest in peace, Etienne. Flagpoles will be at half mast in your honor. Can I get a plan B? And just for the record, Edmund White, flags will be at half mast for Edmund White as well. Flags will be at half mast. Don't get it wrong. Don't get it twisted. Dear Lord, please bless brother John Brinkus. That's right, brother John Brinkus. Brinkus died at the age of 54 on May 31st, 2025. That, if he died earlier than that, I wouldn't have. If he had died in 2024, I wouldn't be talking about him now. Unless he died and just got found. Well, at any rate, he died May 31st, following a long struggle with depression. An official cause of death has not been disclosed. Now, just come on out and say it, okay? He was depressed. He got down and he stayed down, okay? Depression does not kill you. Depression just makes you want to kill yourself. Just come out and say it. Okay, never mind. Sports TV will no longer be the same now that sports science host John Brinkus has died. The television personality, producer, and director was transparent about his struggle with depression during his final years. Now, if you or someone you care about are suffering from depression, please do not hesitate to call 988. Okay, do not take your life. Or someone else's life, because that's also a thing. People get depressed and they say, well, I'm depressed and I'm going to make other people hurt as much as I'm hurting. So please call 988. Do that. Now, the fact that I'm saying this right now, the AI people have heard me talk about depression and suicide and 988. And one of 2 things is happening right now. They are going to remove this from the thing because I talked about it, which is what happened last time. It's not my fault that the people commit suicide. Why am I being penalized? I'm only telling you they committed suicide, and I'm saying call 988. But they will take this off the air just like last time. Last time they took it off the air. All right. And I'm trying to stop suicides by saying call 988. Now you call 988 or listen to Coffee with the Dog on Mind Dog TV Monday through Friday, 9 to 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Okay. But don't call me. I will only make things worse. So rest in peace, John. You made the science of sports fun. He did. I used to watch that, and they'd would review a play, like a play would happen, and it's like, man, that was a fantastic play. And then he'd break it down, the science of the equilibrium of someone if a running back ran and turned and jumped over another player backwards, he would break down the point of leverage and how the weight shifted from this point, the center of gravity went from here to here, and he explains to you the science of how that play was possible. I loved that. I loved it. Matter of fact, I think it could have been its own show, like a half an hour a half an hour a week, just breaking down plays, because I just love science. I'm a man of faith who loves science. So, because God invented science right after he invented faith. As a matter of fact, the first commandment used to be, thou shalt have no science before me. Before and after science. That was an album by Brian Eno. Very good album, Before and After Science. Had King's Lead Hat on it. And it also had Spider and I think. It was a good album. I loved it. And also, probably the best use for the stick that I've heard in a long time, at least in popular music. But I'm saying popular music and Brian Eno and Before and After Science in the same sentence. And it wasn't popular music. It was just music that was popular to me. And so at any rate, rest in peace, John. You made the science of sports fun, at least for me. That's right. Can I get an ESPN? And dear Lord, please bless the entire behind-the-scenes staff at Mind Dog TV. They are truly doing your work, helping to spread your word throughout the wordosphere. They could be anywhere today, but they are here, wishing they were anywhere today. And that ought to count for something. And today, our producer is the comedian Stephen the sitcom Ortiz, or the comedian formerly known as Ortiz. He's still known as Ortiz now, but it will be formerly in the future formerly known as Ortiz. He's in the background doing the things that the Matt Man would be doing, except for when he passes the collection plate, he probably won't steal the funds and use them for white weed like Matt does. We hope. We haven't tested his honesty yet or his purity. We tested his urine, and he's pregnant. Now, let's have a little, minddogtv.com, the place to go for all of your Church of Last Resort gear. Like that t-shirt over there, and I'm not going to walk over there and get it because I think my knees locked up. I should have been moving them around. I think I'm starting to, damn, that's weird. Excuse me, I got to pop my knees. There we go. Much better. I wouldn't need popping if penis wasn't rubbing up against it so much. Damn it. Okay, sorry. Now, time for a little bump for the Lord. That's right. Everybody, if you got it, drink it. If you got it, drink it. A little bump for the Lord. It's never too early. Never too early to bump for the Lord. Amen. That's good stuff. That is good stuff. Sorry, I need another bump. Yes, indeed. That's right. And speaking of fuck yes, in the name of George Carlin, Robin Williams, and Richard Pryor, can I get a fuck yeah? Fuck yeah! Yes, indeed. Thank you, Brother Stevie. Thank you, Brother Stevie. Now, before we continue with our sermon, which is called Why Tyrants Fail, I want to take this opportunity to let you know that if you are a person of ill repute or a person with a talent, like you're an author, a comedian, a musician, uh, or even an entrepreneur. I said that without reading it. I have trouble with that word. Honestly, I tried to use that word yesterday. Let me tell you, yesterday, my friend GD Fenderson, his great niece had a graduation party. So him, myself, his wife Carol, and my wife Amona, the four of us went to the graduation dinner, and I was sitting there talking with GD's nephew Mark, and another gentleman who had his own business. And I tried to say in entrepreneur, see, I can't do it, but I tried 3 times and they just laughed at me. And I told them it's one of those words I need to see it to say it. And so I just said, fuck it. He's a business man. And my nephew goes, we all know what a business man is. So that's it. So, but if you're a musician, an author, a comedian, or businessman, you can be on Mind Dog TV. Just check. As a matter of fact, we have a young lady here, Sister Curly Hair So Bright. She is here to tell you how to get on Coffee with the Dog. That's your cue to play the commercial.
Comedians, musicians, songwriters, filmmakers, authors, and podcasters. Coffee with the Dog is booking for the
spring and summer
now. Get free publicity and hone your interview skill in a fun and safe setting. Coffee with the Dog is a live radio, live stream podcast based in New York that airs daily Monday to Friday 9 a.m. to 11 o'clock in syndication on iHeartRadio, as well as video streaming platforms like YouTube, Twitch, Rumble, and many other platforms. Guests usually come on remotely via StreamYard, like Zoom but easier, although occasionally we do in-studio interviews. The morning show focuses mainly on comedians and musicians, and they have interviewed many top names and classic celebrities such as Robert Klein, Mike Binder, Eddie Brill, Doug Stanhope, Steve Byrne, Paul Provenza, Jeff Altman, and many, many others. For booking, go to minddogtv.com/booking.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. Brothers, yes, indeed. Now, sorry about my face doing that. I was changing the screen so I could see something different there. Yeah, I don't like to get, I shouldn't mean, yeah, I know it looked like I was filleting the microphone, and I wasn't filleting the microphone because it's not Wednesday. That's what we do on Wednesday as part of the Bible study. Wednesday night is Bible study. That's when you fillet the microphone. Never mind. So today's sermon is called WTF, Why Tyrants Fail. Now, there's a parentheses because the title is also Why Trump's Flailing. Okay, he hasn't failed yet, but he is flailing, and we're going to kind of discuss that. But I want you to understand what a tyrant is first. Okay, what a tyrant is, and why Trump is failing at tyrantism. All right, he's trying. He really is trying. He just doesn't have the education to be a tyrant. So, but he's on his way. He's an authoritarian by nature. Well, actually, he's a coward by nature, and he's the authoritarianism he uses to cover up his cowardice. Okay, I got ahead of myself. Let me let you know what Plato and Aristotle said. The philosophers Plato and Aristotle define a tyrant as a person who rules without law, using extreme and cruel methods against both his people and others. Now, the encyclopedia defined the term as a usurper, not Lucifer, usurper, okay? Usurper, USURPER, of sovereign power who makes, I'm sorry. I am so sorry. I said usurper, and I should have defined it for the people on Rumble. I should have told you what the usurper is. I'm going to let you know. I'm going to assume that you know what it means and just keep on going. All right. I'm not going to insult your intelligence. I apologize. That's not right. So, as a usurper of sovereign power who makes his, quote, subjects the victims of his passions and unjust desires, which he substitutes for laws, close quote. Now, I think that should sound familiar, okay? Now, unlike democratic leaders and small d democratic leaders, not the big D, the small d democratic leaders, as in the political system, not the party, unlike small d democratic leaders, dictators typically bypass established political processes to maintain their control. The centralization of power in their hands usually involves the elimination of alternate centers of power. Okay, now I read that out to you because a lot of these things are happening right before our eyes. And we just don't realize that all those things that happen. We go, this is what happens. Trump deports people, and some of them are even citizens. And we say, that's fucked up. And we take it as an isolated incident. Okay. Trump, decides I'm going to enrich my friends, by fucking with the markets. I'm going to announce tariffs. And when the market starts to sink, I'll let my friends know that tomorrow I'm going to put a temporary hold on the tariffs. So buy your stock now while it's low. And then the next day, they all buy their stock while it's low. The next day he goes, I've been making a deal in private with such and such a country, which never happened. You never see the results of any of these, quote, so-called deals. He just says that, and then the market goes up and his friends make money. And when I say friends, I mean him, because he is also invested in this shit. So, I'm sorry, I had to scratch my head. And when I scratch my head, I can't think because I hear this, and then I can't hear the thoughts. So, and then when that happens, we go, that's fucked up. That's fucked up. He's helping the rich. Again, well, see, and on all these things he does, we go, that's fucked up. But it's more than just fucked up. There's a through line. Every little thing he does. Let me show you. Let me show what I'm talking about. Right here. Let me show you. Okay. Oh, shit. Sorry about that. I dropped my earbud. I don't know why I panicked that because I dropped it like it was hot. I dropped it like it was hot. No, I dropped it, and I was expecting my sound to cut out, like for you guys. All right. Okay, here we go. This, let me see here. This ass here is, okay, that's an ass, right? Is that an ass? Well, anyway, this is Donald Trump. Okay, this ass here is Donald Trump. And these little things that he's dropping these little things. Like this little droplet here, that's him announcing a tariff, okay? This little droplet here, he's like, he's just shitting right there. He dropped the tariff. He dropped immigration thing. Here's another drop right here. He wants to get rid of naturalized citizenship. Okay, here's another droplet here. He wants to get rid of the courts having the rights to oversee his misdeeds, his holding him in contempt. Here's another little droplet. He got rid of the independent, the IGs, the inspector generals, the ones that are whose job it is to watch over and watch for corruption. Okay, and here's another little droplet. Okay, and every time this happens, we go, oh man, that's some fucked up shit. 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 Every time Trump does something, here he goes, another little turd. Oh, there's some fucked up shit. And they're just looking for individual pieces of fucked up shit. But there's a through line, okay, all the way through that. And it all goes back to Trump trying to maintain power and gather up wealth. See? So we are looking at the individual turds and saying that's fucked up shit. And I'm saying we need to look at the through line and realize that all of those turds are a result of Trump trying to gather up power and influence under him, not even under the presidency. He just ran for president to stay out of jail and to make money. That's it. He didn't plan on being a tyrant. It just so happens that the only way he can get what he wants is to be a tyrant. That's it. If he could got what he wanted by being a pussy and staying in Mar-a-Lago, he'd have been a pussy and stayed in Mar-a-Lago. But he wants to be wealthy and he wants to stay out of jail. And whatever it takes, that's what he's doing. He's afraid. He's afraid of going to jail. He like I say, that's why he's not a very good tyrant. Okay, he's not a very good tyrant. He's failing at it. But what he is good at is distraction. He's good at distraction. He's one of the best at it. He's been doing it for so fucking long. And so each turd is a distraction. And we stop and we smell that turd and we focus on that turd, where that turd landed. And what we need to do is realize that all those turds are connected. They came out the same ass. Okay? Even if they smell a little bit different, because on this day he had Diet Coke, and on this day he had KFC, and on this day he had McDonald's, and on this day he had Taco Bell, and on this day he had Lindsey Graham in his ass. It doesn't matter. The point is, it all came out of his ass. It's all turds, and it's all connected. And it's all rolling downhill, and it's all landing on us. All right? That's what I'm talking about. Now, as a result, okay, tyrants and Trump often govern without the consent of the majority of people. Okay, that is a telltale sign. Now, I'm not just talking about the election when less than 50% of the people actually voted for Trump. Less than 50%. He does not have a majority of the country. Okay, forgetting the Electoral College, he did not have half the country voting for him. All right. So that should go without. It shouldn't have to. What's the proper way of saying it? That should go without saying. That shouldn't have to go without saying. We shouldn't have to say that. But he never got the majority of the company. Yet he's in charge. Okay. Again, another symptom of being a tyrant. But that's a tyrant that we help create. Okay. We got to get rid of that. We got to get rid of the Electoral College. As a matter of fact, G.D. Fenderson wrote a very good article in a magazine called What's the Story? And he explains the Electoral College and why it needs to be gotten rid of in very simple terms so that anybody with a third grade education or less or more or just a third grade could understand it. So check that out. It's in What's the Story magazine. I don't know which issue it is. Just read them all. Just look for G.D. Fenderson's. It's there. It's out there somewhere. He wrote a lot of articles he wrote like 8 or so articles for What's the Story magazine. Very good writer, very smart man. Okay, so now the other thing is that not only do tyrants need to distract people, they need people to be afraid of them. Okay, they need to, and even when they don't have actual power of them, they do things. Now, and I understand why some people are afraid, especially if you are a minority and because I'm not going to say here illegally, because some of them are here illegal. Some of them are here legally waiting for asylum, which is legal. Okay, that is legal. For them to say they're illegal, no, they're waiting for asylum. They're waiting for the hearings. If the hearing hasn't shown up or occurred yet, it's not their fault. They're not in charge of the justice system. They don't get to pick what's on the docket. So yes, they may have to wait 4 or 5 years, but they're still here legally while they wait. Okay, and I understand why some of them are afraid, because Trump is just gathering people up willy-nilly because he's gathering up willy and nilly and a bunch of other people whose names don't sound like that, like Jesus and Indira and stuff like that. He's gathering people like that because he wants them to all be afraid. Okay. And then he has a couple of citizens that he's also grabbed up because he wants us, the citizenry, to be afraid. Because when people are afraid, they become, for the most part, paralyzed, and they don't act. They don't do what's in their best interest. And here's the problem: when you're constantly keeping people afraid, okay, at some point, the human condition gets used to that condition. That's why you can't torture someone forever. At some point, the body gets used to the torture and it just shuts down. And then it's ready to fight back because there's a part of us that wants to survive. There's a part of us that wants to fight. Not everybody. Some people just give up the ghost, and they should call 988 instead of giving up the ghost. Well, although with budget cuts, maybe no one's answering 988. I don't know. What I'm telling you is don't give up just because you're afraid. The only thing that counts is fear. It's not bravery. Bravery does not counter fear. Okay. Bravery is not what you think it is. You know, you can be afraid and still be brave. It just means that you are willing to face your fear and overcome it and act anyway. I'll tell you a story. Maybe I won't. Never mind. I was about to tell you about one of my many fears. I have arachnophobia. Actually, I have a fear of quite a few crawly things, but arachnophobia is one of them. And we were in church, and it was a healing service. We were doing a healing service, and everybody was in quiet prayer and meditation during the healing service. And so, obviously, my head was down and my eyes was open because I don't pray like most people. And I looked, and I see a spider crawling across the floor. And it crawls on a shoe of the lady in front of me, and the lady's wearing a dress. So pretty soon that spider was going to crawl up her leg, and then she would have jumped up and screamed, and that would have like broken the mood for the healing prayer, So what I did, and I'm afraid of spiders, but I put my hand down near her shoe, and the spider jumped in my hand. And so I cupped my hand, not closed it. I cupped my hand like this, and I walked the spider outside, and I let it go. Yes, I was afraid of that spider the whole fucking time. I didn't know if it was going to bite me. I didn't know if it was just going to jump up, crawl into my afro, which I had back then. I didn't have this. I had an afro. This was my early days of churching. I still have my afro. It wasn't an afro. My hair was so long that the weight was pulling it down like this. So it was more like the way you'd see somebody. It was nice. It was awesome looking. Maybe I look, a lot of people said, "You look like Jesus." And I was like, "Jesus, you're right." So, but he could have crawled in my hair. Like the time I was riding a bus and a bee flew into my afro, and I could have panicked, but instead I took my pick and I stuck it between the bee and my scalp because the bee was angry, and the bee was like in my afro trying to get out, going, and I just got my pick, keeping it between the bee and my scalp. So if the bee wants to try to sting me, it has to go through the pick first, which it can't. And I'm holding it like this, and I counted like this for about 5 or 6 minutes but the bus came to my stop. And once it came to my stop, I got off the bus and I looked in the mirror at somebody's car, and which is dangerous in my neighborhood. Black guy looking in the car. When I wasn't in the car, I was using windshield, trying to use the driver's side mirror and the windshield, not the windshield, the car, the thing, the window as a reflective surface. So I could see where the bee was going, and I'm doing this, and every time I move my pick, the bee is going, and I'm going like this and going like this, and I got the bee out of my hair eventually, unharmed, unscathed. So bravery just means acting even in the face of fear. Doesn't mean you're not afraid. Okay, you can be afraid and still act. And that's what I'm telling you, people. If you're afraid, don't let it paralyze you. Do something about it. And one of the ways you get rid of fear is through knowledge. Learn about the thing that scares you. Okay, if you're afraid of of immigration, if you're afraid of ICE, if you're afraid of Trump, if you're afraid of the police, if you're afraid of the dark, learn about the things you're afraid of. Gain that knowledge and conquer that fear. Kick that fear right up in the gonads, okay? Thank you. And don't be distracted. Do not be distracted. Because that's the other thing. Like I showed you here, we're focusing on the turds when there's a through line, all right? A through line. I'm going to tell you another quickie. Now this has nothing to do with Trump. I just want to tell this story, okay? If you're going, not another Trump story. No, this is a story that has nothing to do with Trump. Just makes me feel good. My wife Amona and I have, those of you who follow us, you know we have a cat and a dog. Our cat is Tootsie, and our dog, his name is Stop Dropping. Okay, so because sometimes because they're here, other animals come to the door, and over the years, 2 cats started coming to the door to be friends with Tootsie, and my wife Amona being concerned, we began to feed those cats, and they've been coming to the door for food, and we leave the food out, and now raccoons come to the door for food as well, and blue jays and other animals. We have deer that come up to get food, and so possum, foxes, and so I called animal control, not to get rid of the animals. No, that's not why I called them. I called them because I wanted to know about early signs of rabies and distemper, because those things can be given to domestic animals like cats and dogs. Although it's funny, they call it feline rabies. It's all the same virus. They just call it that depending on where it is. Okay, so it's like I haven't changed. So right here, I'm Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll. But if I go outside 2 blocks and turn left, I'm that nigger with a collar. See, I haven't changed. It's just what they call me has changed. And it's the same thing with rabies. Rabies is rabies, whether it's in a raccoon or a cat. Once it goes from raccoon to cat, they call it feline rabies. Okay, it's the same virus. The drug that you give the raccoon for rabies, you give the cat. Technically, it's not a drug, and I'm gonna tell you about that in a second. And same with distemper. It's distemper in the raccoon. It's distemper in the cat. Distemper in the raccoon. Distemper in the dog. Okay, same virus. So I wanted to learn the telltale signs so that if I could identify early enough, if the animals are coming around, I can protect my cat and the other animals, and I can trap that one if it's sick. Okay, so I wanted to know the telltale signs. So I called animal control and I explained my situation. And they said, well, there's a couple things you can do. You can call us, or you can call an exterminator to come out and kill it. I said, no, don't kill it. Okay, you can call us and we can come out and kill it. No, I just said don't kill it. I said, okay. They said, well, you can trap it if you can trap the raccoon, but once you trap it, it's your responsibility and you have to relocate it to someplace else. I was like, well, if I think it has rabies, why would I move it someplace else? Someplace where they don't even know he's got rabies. That's stupid. She says, okay, well, you can dispatch him. And I know I said, dispatch him. She goes, yeah, just take him out and shoot him. I said, I don't have a gun. I'm not a coward. I don't have a gun. I'm not afraid. I said, I have swords, and I have spears, and I have axes. Now, before somebody goes like, figured the spear chucker would have a spear. That's not why I have a spear. I don't have it because I'm black. I have those weapons because of the martial arts. Okay. And so I told her, I said, I don't have a gun to shoot the raccoon. I said, I have a sword and I can stab it. I have a spear. I have an axe. I have stars. I have these little stars I can throw at the raccoon. And she starts laughing. She goes, "Oh Lord, no, don't do that. Don't do that." She says, "That would be messy." And I said, "Oh, I could take my nunchucks and out there." I said, "I have nunchucks. I can go after the raccoon with my nunchucks." And I went, "Wah!" You know, and you know, and you know raccoons. You know, you threaten a raccoon, he stands up like this, and he gets tries to be all big. And they know how, and you know, if he's got rabies, he's a little bit crazy. They're not afraid of you. They just attack. And me and my nunchucks going up against a raccoon. Well, that's YouTube worthy. I may do that. I may have, if one of the animals out there goes rabbit, I will have to get my nunchucks because I don't have a gun. Guns are for cowards. They're for pussies. If you have a gun, you're afraid of something. And I can say someone says like, "I use target practice." Yeah, because you're afraid of the target. Okay. If you're not afraid of the target, go up with a knife and stab the target. Okay. You're afraid of the target. That's why you stand 200 yards away and shoot at it. Okay. Get your knife. Go hand in hand with the target. Don't be afraid. I use the hunt because you're afraid to face the deer with your bare hands. Face it on the same terms. The deer doesn't have a gun. You shouldn't have a gun. Go up, hand to hand. That's beside the point. That's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm saying is don't be afraid. Okay, don't be afraid. Find out about the things that scare you and learn about them so that it gets rid of the fear and you can fight back. We can fight back against the tyranny of this Trump administration. We can do that. Now, for those people on Rumble going, that's right, I said that. You heard me. You heard it right. I said it, and I stand by it. I ain't afraid. Now, so I just want to thank you all for listening. It's almost closing time. For those of you who have issues and concerns, you can write to me, Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll at gmail.com. I will answer your thingies. I'll answer, sure. Or you can call me on the telephone, but I ain't giving you my fucking number. But you can call 988 and talk to them if I hurt your feelings. Yeah, call 988 if I hurt your feelings. That's what you need to do. Now, I'm gonna take this opportunity because I didn't load up this commercial, so I'm just going to tell you that the most recent episodes of Done Away Past Funny are on YouTube. The most recent ones you can find the one with former pastor turned comedian Big Rich Brock, and you can also find Slaptail Nation's John Beavers. Those interviews are on YouTube. You can go to sparktv.com and there'll be other interviews with other comedians on there. And you can also check out Knob TV on Roku TV. Knob TV, again, Done Way Past Funny. New episodes are up all the time, just not right now. Because the person that I was supposed to interview said, "Can I reschedule?" And I was like, "Oh, fuck, all right." And I didn't get somebody else to reschedule to fill that spot. And that was my fault. But there's plenty, if you have not caught up, there's plenty of episodes to catch up on. There's an episode with our producer, Stephen Ortiz. If you haven't seen his episode, check out his interview. Matt Napo, check out his interview, okay? So check out Done Way Past Funny on YouTube, Spark TV and Knob TV. And also go to gigsalad.com. Be a fan of G.D. Fenderson and Stephen Ortiz. And check out our pages. Check out my page. Sign up on Facebook at Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll. Become a subscriber to my fan page and also on my YouTube page, Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll. So before I close, I want to thank you, those of you who've signed up in the past. Thank you so much. It means a lot to me. And bless you. And don't forget, you can hire G.D. Fenderson for a private event, gigsalad.com. All right. I said it again. There you go. Gigsalad.com, G.D. Fenderson. On behalf of the Church of Last Resort and the entire Roll family, my wife Amona, my kids Cinnamon and Jelly Jr., our cat Tootsie, and our dog Stop Dropping, I wish you safe travels, and I hope you will join us next week at 9 a.m. Eastern Orthodox Time on Mind Dog TV and everywhere that our word is heard. Brothers and sisters, thank you. And in the name of George Collin, Robin Williams, and Richard Pryor, can I get a fuck yeah? Fuck yeah! See you next week. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes. Let me stall while he looks for that outro music, that little outro video. Let me stall. Let me do a little song and dance while he's looking. Da, 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 da. Even though I told him I end at 10 o'clock, and it's 10 o'clock, he should have had his finger right there on the button. So when I said thank you, see you next week, he can go do, 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 do. So, and I can see him in the background. He's moving his lips saying, God damn it. No. Now, this is what's going to happen. On Monday, the other guy, Matt Nappo, is going to call him a fucking button pusher, but instead he's going to say, you fucking non-button pusher, motherfucking cocksucking, child diddling, joke stealing. That's all Matt, not me. Matt's going to say all that stuff on Monday. You should watch it. And I'm still, you still can't find it? Do I have to find it myself? I'll find it. I'll find it. Good God.